hesitant about this?
Yeah, and if you'll recall, that in the history of the sport, we started off racing with no guardrails at all, and then had the Armco barriers that was typical of what was back there. And we've evolved into the concrete exterior walls, and now we're working on the next evolution of that. But there is a downfall to this Armco barrier, like we saw today. It takes a lot of time to put things back together, but we're pleased that nobody was hurt. Steve's in a good spirits. Dale Jr.'s in good spirits, and we're ready to go back to it.
How close are the energy-absorbing walls to coming to these racetracks?
Well, it's closer than it's ever been. Next week at the Brickyard 400, we'll have them in place there. Indianapolis was the test model to begin the development of the walls, so therefore it makes a whole lot of sense for it to be the first facility where we actually put them into practice. And as we speak, there's development going on to where we can conquer tight radius issues as well as issues on steep banks like a Bristol or Talladega and Daytona. But Dean Sickens and the folks at the University of Nebraska have done a great job, and we expect to see more of them as we go.
All right, Mike. Thanks for the update. Let's get back next door, and we'll get back to racing. You see,
I can have my spot back.
Yeah, Wally's sitting over here in the corner pouting because you cut him out of the herd. But number of cars have visited pit road here on the under the caution flag to try and top off the fuel tank.
Because now you don't know. I mean, fuel might be an issue.
Well, it always is here, it seems like.
But even more so now because of that storm of brewing.
Yeah. A brewing. I like that. All right, let's reset it for you. Ricky Rudd is the leader. Bill Elliott is second. Jeremy Mayfield is third. Michael Waltrip fourth. And Ryan Newman is fifth. Then you've got Johnny Benson, Tony Stewart, John Andretti, Jerry Nadeau, and Jimmy Johnson, who round out the top 10. We only ran one lap, not even a full lap, before the caution flag came out. So basically we're starting from scratch, save for the laps that have been run under the caution.
And Ricky Craven was talking about bringing that Tide Ride to pit road. So far that has not happened. Still in the 11th position.
First car that pitted was the Elliott Sadler car, who was running 24th at the time. And people behind him all bailed out, came down pit road, and topped off the fuel. Getting the 1 to go signal at the start-finish line. That's great news. Again, just joining us, Steve Park, Dale Earnhardt Jr., both okay after the accident. Let's make our singular call to the pits now. Bill?
Well, thank you, Alan. One car that did not stop here would, of course, be the 28 car of Ricky Rudd, the race leader. Doesn't want to give up that track position, doing fine so far. Called in to make sure his guys checked his tires when they were under the red flag. Took a good look at him. Everything's okay. Ricky's turned off his fan, says his temperature is fine. Big break for this team being out front. Single file restart. Not much traffic heading into turn 1. You can't say that as you go a little deeper in the field. Mike McSwain and company brought the same car that almost won here in June. Dave?
Bill, Ricky Craven decided not to come in. They decided not to give up track position. They'd already picked up 5 positions on the track. The crew, however, has this tape patch ready, and they went over to a diagram of the front of the car to show that they want to cover up a little bit of the damage on the left front so that car has a little bit more left front downforce when they have an opportunity. But that will be under caution and not right now. Marty?
Dave, this is a critical race for Sterling Marlin, and they're trying something new inside the 40 car. They are shifting twice here at Pocono. What that does is it keeps the RPMs down. The first time they tried it was yesterday in happy hour. Sterling has a new transmission in his car, and it's an important race because he is the points leader. 136 was his points lead here in June. It is now down to 55. They have trimmed it that much. Matt?
Marty, before his win at New Hampshire, Ward Burton told me he'd been bitten by the bad luck bug 9 times this year, and then he went out and won his second race this season. He comes into Pocono, he spun during and now the concern is the team's transmission. Ward said under the yellow that his car had trouble going. When he went to go into third gear, the transmission was very tight. He said that it is a concern. Remember, back in June, he lost third gear, so the team is a little concerned, Alan.
So some of the stories on competitors in the Pennsylvania 500 as we get set to go back racing. The green flag will come out at the completion of the 8th circuit of this race. Ricky Rudd, Bill Elliott, Jeremy Mayfield, Michael Waltrip, and Ryan Newman going to lead him down for the restart. Much to the delight of this crowd. Those two.
Here comes the fan. Sterling Marlin trying to get alongside Ricky Rudd. Looks like Sterling is going to get a great restart.
Ricky Craven.
Ricky Rudd's the leader of the race.
Ryan Newman picking up a spot from Michael Waltrip on the jump into turn 1. It'll be 4th place. And we're past the accident scene from lap 1. Johnny Benson inside of John Andretti. Not quite.
But he backed off. You see, he backed off. He might have had position. Later in the race, he might go on under those conditions. But right now, decided, hey, let me back off. And Craven maintains that position on Sterling Marlin.
The straightaways are so long here. You definitely get a draft. On the straightaway as well as a long pond straightaway, you really do pick up a draft from these cars. Coming off of turn 1 here, as you're getting into 2, you pick up a big draft right where Bill Elliott is like right now with Ricky Rudd. If you're going to make the pass going into turn 2, you need to be about where Sterling is. You've got to be at least side by side or have the nose on the door. Then it's pretty much your corner because a guy on the outside, wow.
Wow, did you see Craven
So much for my theory.
drive in on the outside?
You're about to say you don't want to drive in there on the outside, weren't you?
Yeah, but
lead change.
You do. You want to get on the inside. As long as you're up beside him, you can drive it down in there. That outside groove will get slicker and slicker as this race goes on.
Bill Elliott puts the red Dodge back out in front.
And look at that Dodge just pull away from Ricky Rudd off of turn 3.
Jeremy Mayfield going to try Ricky Rudd for second into the corner.
And Rudd loses 2 spots all of a sudden. And Tony Stewart has moved up to that 5th spot.
Yeah, took that away from Michael Waltrip just a lap ago. Here comes Ryan Newman.
Usually the outside guy is going to give. Unless you're the points leader, if you're on the inside, you may give. That Sterling did.
So Newman to 3rd, Rudd to 4th. And Tony Stewart's going to try him there.
Here's another spot. You need to at least show your nose to the door in order for the guy to know you're there, to be able to get up on the inside of a guy in turn 3. But once you're on the inside, it's real difficult staying side by side down this long straightaway.
Tony Stewart right up on the back bumper of Rudd. Cannot make a move. Meanwhile, they're side by side. Joe Nemechek on the inside of Johnny Benson.
This is 13th place, BP.
And look how that outside line is being used more and more by these drivers, Wally.
Yeah, it looks really good. There's a lot of racing room up there in turn 1. And this is a really fun place to pass. Here we got 3 abreast. Somebody's definitely going to have to give big here.
Yeah, this is big. Back off somebody.
Benson, Blaney in the yellow car.
And that really slows the pack down when that happens because everybody's got to get off the gas for it to get sorted out.
Jimmy Johnson, the 48 car, caught on the outside. Oh, the
3 wide behind him.
Yo.
Jimmy Johnson trying to boldly go where
you can't
go. Supposed to. There was a cliche there, but I caught myself. There's Jeff Gordon trying to pick his way up through. He's back in 22nd place. Trying to get 21st away from his teammate, Jimmy Johnson. Rudd's been slipping back a little bit, Bill. What's up?
Well, Alan, he's running his pace, but the other guys are beating him off the turns. And what Ricky believes is that some of these guys, like Marty Snyder talked about earlier today, are shifting twice, and that's where Ricky's getting killed off the turns. He simply can't run with the guys that are shifting twice. So they have more RPMs, faster speeds, drops to 28, deeper in the field.
What happens when you shift twice? That means you have more gear ratio as you come off these corners and more oomph, more horsepower.
Tony Stewart trying to close in on Ryan Newman in the 12th for 3rd place.
Yeah, Ben, it used to be a lot of guys would just shift one time. They downshift going into turn 1, and they would keep it in 3rd gear all the way around until they got to about the start-finish line. Now they're downshifting in 1, upshifting right about where these guys are here in between 1 and 2, then downshifting again, getting into turn 3.
downside of that, the overdrive that they have to run in the transmission is like a .90. Third gear would be 1-to-1, just like you'd have in fourth gear in your car. They shift into fourth, that's overdrive like a .90.
Newman stuck the nose under the back bumper.
That's right. Here goes Newman into the second spot. Tony Stewart trying to follow. The problem is if the engine is turning 9,000 RPM, the drive shaft is turning over 10,000 RPM.
So let's listen to Ryan Newman here.
Zippy shifts down the backstretch.
Here he comes out of turn one.
Up.
He is not shifting it twice by the sounds of that. If he were shifting twice, he'd be downshifting here when he gets into turn three.
So we can see as he goes across about 8,600 across the short tube. Now here, oh, look at him fight that wheel coming off that flat corner. Now watch him shift about the start-finish line. He gets to about 9,000.
I can't believe he's not shifting at all.
What? What? Look at that.
9,500, that car will not last 500 miles.
Ryan, you're supposed to pull it back and forth. Man, oh man.
That is twisting the engine. Let's see what we get here in a turn two.
That's 9,200.
Yeah.
Tell you what, Larry Wallace and those guys, I hope they aren't watching this.
Yeah.
They'll be nervous.
The engine builder.
See, one thing about twisting the engine like this, you don't have to use as much brake because you're using the engine's RPMs to slow you down. So you're not having to use the brake pedal as much. But boy, that is hard on an engine.
He's fighting that car off that flat corner, too. Newman running second. Tony Stewart is third. Jeremy Mayfield is fourth and Ricky Rudd is fifth, but they're all running behind Bill Elliott. Started on the pole, gave up the lead to Ricky Rudd, but now he's back out in front of the Pennsylvania 500. Bill Elliott still leads the Pennsylvania 500, presented by Pep Boys from the Pocono Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. This is the first race in the Pep Boys When Your Car Wins, You Win sweepstakes, starting today and concluding with the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400 in Richmond on September 7th. You can stop by any Pep Boys and pick up a sweepstakes game piece. Scratch off where it says car number and prize. And if your car wins any Winston Cup race between today and that Richmond race, you win the corresponding prize. All prize winners, in addition, who mail in their game piece will be eligible for the grand prize, a trip to 3 Winston Cup races in 2003. Mike Skinner carrying our Pep Boys camera today.
And Mike's shifting. Now that looks like a guy that's shifting twice because he upshifted then downshifted before turn two. Now what he'll do is he'll hold it here. He'll go through turn three, and then he'll grab high gear around the start-finish line.
When he gets about 8,500, you'll see him shift.
Go.
See it back up just a little bit, and he's going to turn about 8,800, 8,900 going down in turn one. Ooh, way up the racetrack, trying to use that outside line.
He's got some